Hello everyone, my name is Professor Rousseau and today you are on Apostrophe Podcast class in session and we are discussing the SPR, which is the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. What is it? First, let me tell you it was launched by the US government in 1978. Why? It was an initiative that allows the US government, to store gas and oil. Where where is the government is stocking those gas and oils and four underground sites that are located along the Gulf Coast of Texas and Louisiana. I think it's LA, Louisiana. Where how many barrels of gasoline can the sites, all of them hold up together? They can hold up to 707 million barrels of gasoline. But the US never reached that much. The highest they ever held was 716 million point 27. That's the highest those sites ever held since 1978. Why is the US stocking gasoline? The US is doing so to sell to American pumps, to sell to pumps. Why? Because they do that in the event of natural disasters. So the pumps or the oil company, they will buy from the sites in the event there is or there are some disasters that impact the price of a gallon at the pump. The gasoline, the oil, the fuels that are being stored in those sites, they are over 40 years old, which means we have been stocking gasoline for the past 40 years, for over 40 years. What right now is in your mind is, if they are that old, what do we do to replace them? So practically, it's only old fuel that are on the sites. Not really. The US knows that they have to have those oil are new, are old, and they have to have new ones. That's why I told you earlier that the US is selling, and many times the US intervene to sell oil to oil companies to maintain the price of a gallon at the pump. There are two strategies that the US is using. The first one is exchange, sell, and the second one is modernization, as the name implies, modernization, or also they call it emergency sale. Let me tell you what they are and how they help the government maintain the price of a gallon at the pump. Let's start with the first one, with the exchange sale. The exchange sale is authorized only by the executive or by the president. Only the executive can authorize an exchange sale. When it does that, it will allow the four sites together to sell 20 million barrels of gasoline. 20 is per year, 20 yearly. But the sites cannot sell 20 million at once. They have to split it into two sales, 10 million a year. 10 million one time, 10 million one time. Let me delete this one for you. One time. Meaning that the US or the site will place a bid and the oil companies will come to they will place the bid, and whoever wins will get the bid. So is for the executive will authorize 20 million barrels of oil per year, 10 million each time. Let's talk about the second one, which is the emergency or modernization sale. This one can only be authorized by Congress. And one thing you need to know, the US is applying those techniques is to replace old oil with new oil, and I will tell you how the government will repurchase whatever it sells to the public. Emergency sale is different. There is no set amount. The reason there is amount is because it mostly authorized to fix, to rectify a situation, or depending of the need of the moment. It could be 1 million or 50 million. It depends on what is to be fixed, and you will see later the different amounts that Congress authorized. You know what? Let's start with a 2008, so we don't have to go too far. In 2008, the four sites all together, they had a total of 707 million point 21 million barrels of gasoline. In 2008, you remember it was a bad year for America because of natural disasters. We're talking about Hurricane Gustav. And shortly after that, we had Hurricane Ike. Congress authorized a series of emergency exchange throughout 2008. And we moved from 707 to 5.4 million, meaning the SPR, the four sites, were depleted from 707 to 5.4 because it was the intention to keep the country running, to put gas in vehicles so we can give help wherever and move people from one state to another state to make sure that the hurricanes didn't cause more harm than good. In 2021, Congress again decided to authorize other emergency sales. This time they authorized 50 million. 2021, we are talking about right now the Russian and Ukraine crisis, where we were all complaining that we were paying too much for gasoline. The Congress intervened. They authorized an emergency sale of 50 million. Remember, it was in November 2021. 3 months later, which was February 2022. February 2022. The same Congress intervened to authorize another emergency sale of 30 million. Not enough. In May, that same year, May 2022, that same Congress intervened, but that time they authorized a sale of 180 million, and they told the sites how to sell those 180 million. How they do that? They said every day for 6 months, every day for 6 months, you will only sell 1 million barrels of gasoline, 1 million per day for 6 months. They did that because prices were going up, inflation, and now they have to tell them, you know what, you have to put 1 million to make sure we are able to analyze, to understand how the market will be going. Now, let's talk about that to know we sell them. How do we get them? The sites, the SPR, has a year to replace the gas they sold. Meaning, whatever they sell, they must repurchase within 12 months. The government, when it sells oil, it doesn't sell to make any profit. When we sell gasoline, we don't expect to generate any return on whatever we sell. Let me tell you something. Let's take a scenario to make sure that you understand. Let's say that in January 2023, just an example. Let's say that the US sells fuel at 100 about 100. That's January. Remember that the US has a year to purchase whatever it sells or whatever it sold. Now, remember January $100. Let's go now. Let's say now we are in December, still 2023, and we have to repurchase at that time this month. If the barrel rose to 105, guess with guess how much the US or the sites will pay to buy a barrel. 105, meaning that the US will lose money, which means the sites will lose money. They sold 1 million at 100, they have to purchase 1 million at 105. However, if January they buy at 100 and in December is 95, boom, they will purchase at 95, which means we will raise more money. Maybe we will buy more than we purchase, so we can at least fill all our tanks to get up to 727 million. In essence, the US government store fuels in 4 underground sites, where in Texas and Louisiana, they launched the initiative that is called SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserve, that was launched in 1978. And I said for the US to replace old with new, they have two techniques. One is called the exchange sell, the other one is called modernization or exchange sell. And once again, the US does not sell to make profits, but they sell to replace old with new and also sometimes to modernize the system. The US will always intervene in time of financial crisis and inflation to prevent a gallon of gas from rising too quickly. Thank you for watching Apostrophe Podcast. Professor Rousseau, class in session. See you next week.